Welcome to Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. Listen in as we journey to some of Italy's most beautiful places in the company of those who know them best, the families who grow grapes and make fabulous wines. Through their stories, we will learn not just about their wines, but also about their ways of life, the local and regional foods and specialities that pair naturally with their wines, and the most beautiful places to visit. We have a wonderful journey of discovery ahead of us, and I hope you will join me. Welcome to Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. Today we travel to Western Sicily to meet Natalia Ravidà, food writer, journalist, and producer of award-winning single estate extra virgin olive oil. Thank you for being my guest today, Natalia. How are you today? Is the sun shining?
Well, actually, there was so much wind throughout the night that I could hardly sleep. I live by the sea, so it was quite a strong gale. But it has been raining non-stop this autumn in Sicily, and this has somehow affected the harvest in a very odd way, because usually we wait for rains during the harvest time in autumn. But this year it started raining, say, mid-October, after a very, very hot summer. And so at first we were quite pleased to have that amount of rain. But now it has had a serious impact on the harvest, because we had problems picking. We've been picking like 2 days out of 7. So the olive press is still open today on 10th of December, when we usually close pressing around the third week of November.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. It was raining when I saw you in Palermo in October. So I'm sorry to hear this has been ongoing. We've had some funny weather here too. I've just been battling the hatches down because we're on a tidal estuary. So it's a strange time. Now, Natalia, you used to live in London, where you had a successful career as a food writer, a journalist, and then you took the decision to return to your family home near Menfi to begin to work with the estate that's been in your family for generations. Can you tell us a little bit about your story?
Well, actually, as you said, I worked as a journalist, and being a journalist, you read everything you can possibly read to look for new stories. And one day I came across a story of this gentleman farmer who had started bringing back to the UK tins of this amazing juice of olives that tasted green and grassy. And everybody was picking it up, like the top stores like Harvey Nichols, the Conrad shop, and Selfridges, and discovering this amazing product that was real extra virgin olive oil. I had been doing the same thing on a sort of family home level by always bringing bottles of freshly pressed olive oils back with me to the UK and having my friends over for the simplest of things: warm bread, the bit of sea salt, and extra virgin olive oil. I think that's the most delicious way of tasting olive oil. Or when olive oil is green and fresh and really estate produced quality, it's almost like drinking a good glass of wine. It has its own personality. It has varieties that express, their own character in taste, flavor, and aromas. And really, the UK was discovering all this back in the late 80s and very early 90s. And as I read the story of Charles Carey, who is our current still our importer in the UK today. We've been celebrating 30 years of work together. I decided to bring him a bottle of our olive oil. It took me a long time to convince my father, who was very strict about everything that was quality. And my father said olive oils are only Tuscan. Sicily does not have a market for olive oils. How can you bring that message across, And then he got quite involved in the project and thought, oh, well, we produce a good quality oil because we have 100-year-old olive trees at the farm that produce a wonderful grassy, slightly peppery, with a tiny bit of bitterness. That those are the elements of a good quality oil. And so he said, well, actually, we can do it. Let's try. Let's give it a try. So he conceived this dark green bottle that is still the Ravida iconic bottle with a label, very, very classical, to try and convey to the public that we were producers in Sicily, which at the time did not have a very good reputation back in the 90s, to produce a quality product that could actually find a place on the shelves. So I brought a bottle to Charles Carey and his wife Saika, and they tasted it, and they were silent for a very long 5 or maybe just 2 or 3 minutes, but it seemed forever.
Mm.
So I was really worried, and I thought, oh, maybe, olive oil is a delicate product and it goes off very easily. And I thought something had gone wrong with the sample I had brought. And then they sort of opened their eyes and they said, oh, Natalia, we've never tasted an oil like this. It's so grassy. It just smells of sea and freshly pressed olives. And because Sicilian olive oils are typically very grassy oils, our oil is actually quite delicate. It's not an intense fruity, it's a medium fruity oil, but it has quite a lot of complexities because it's produced out of a natural blend of 3 Sicilian olive varieties that are typical of Western Sicily and that we find in our farm. They are Biancolilla, Ceasuola, and Nocellaria del Belice, and they mix together in a way that is never the same every year. This is a bit like, chateau wines. I always make a reference to French wines because they have their own classifications, and the wine is never exactly the same year after year. So because of climate change and sometimes very hot summers, we've had loss of crops in the last 5 or 6 years. The oil has never been exactly the same. And it has happened that some years we've had a higher production of Biancolilla, which is the olive that produces the base of the oil, which is very green, grassy, but a very delicate olive. Some years we've had a bigger impact of the Ceasuola, which produces a full-bodied oil, a bit more like the Tuscan Frantoio. And these are slight changes that, probably the consumer, unless the consumer is a trained olive oil taster, will not be able to detect. But, when I taste my little 40 tanks of oil at the press, I notice, I realize there's a slight difference in every single batch that I taste.
So it's very much like wine then, with the different grape varieties, the different olive varieties are what come together to produce your signature blend, even though we have these annual variations.
Yes, entirely. And what I think today, at first, I was myself shocked that the oil would not have the exact same flavor and taste profile. But then I realized that, in fact, we have an extraction technique that is quite representative of the Ravida brand, which produces a very clean oil, very balanced, not greasy, and very fresh in the palate with grassy notes. And yes, a very harmonious in its aftertaste with a long peppery aftertaste. And that's what we're mostly known for and what, our customers enjoy and when they use Ravida extra virgin olive oil.
Yes, it's a wonderful oil. And I've seen that press in action during the season. And it's one of the most amazing sights to see the olives going in and the crushing and the pressing, and then that separation of the olive water from the oil and that drizzle of new oil emerging. And that new oil, to me, and I'm sure to you and all olive oil lovers, is a really special moment of the year, special as the first taste of the new wine. What's so special about your new oil? Because it is a very special moment every year.
Well, it is a moment that we wait for and look forward to for 11 months a year, because as oil really pours out of the separator, it is very green. It's really like a freshly pressed olive. It's green, it's grassy, and We love
It's peppery. It catches your throat. It's so peppery.
it is peppery, but again, pepperiness has to be pleasant on the back of your throat. It must not scratch your throat.
Hmm.
So it has to develop really like a spiciness. And one of the characteristics, for example, of our olive oil that we are very proud of is a long lasting pepper in the back of your mouth and your throat. And then, there's nothing better. That's why we've always sold sea salt alongside our oil, because the sea salt just lifts up the oil and opens up all those natural flavors and fragrance that are in the fresh in oil.
This is the sea salt from Trapani,
From the salt pans, yes, of Western Sicily, between Marsala and Trapani.
where sea salt has been produced since at least the time of the Phoenicians.
Probably, yes.
Now, Natalia, you take your oils around the world, and you're also an ambassador for Sicily and for Sicilian food. You taught people about how to use olive oil, and in particular with Sicilian foods. Can we talk a bit about the uses of olive oil and how best to enjoy it when it's a special single estate oil?
Let's say that olive oils is a binder of flavors, and it is at the base of Mediterranean and Sicilian cooking. We season, but also, I should say, we start cooking everything with quality extra virgin olive oil. And the quality extra virgin olive oil will contribute to the final result of our dishes. I can taste if there is a rancid or a cheap extra virgin used in anything that I eat. And it does give an off flavor and taste to food. So quality olive oil is really essential for cooking. It's essential to start, the 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil or fat or grease that you use when you start cooking some vegetables, sauteing some onion, or that you add to a soup are key to the final taste and flavor of food. And that's why Mediterranean food is actually quite simple and not very elaborate. Most of my, daily diet, because I'm always on a diet these days, I just boil vegetables, then season with sea salt and extra virgin olive oil that are turned into a soup. And last week we had together the dry broad bean soup, for example, if you remember.
Yes.
The dry broad beans are just soaked in water and then boiled with just a chopped onion. Maybe traditionally we add some wild fennel shoots and some sea salt, and then it's topped with extra virgin olive oil. This is a traditional farmer's lunch, we call it, that farmers used to take out to the fields in winter because it's very nutritious. And it's one of the best ways to taste, for example, new season extra virgin olive oil.
Actually, I had a chance to taste that with you. You made that for us when we visited recently, and it was so good, so simple, quite thick, almost like not a soup, almost a solid. The broad beans were quite thick, but with that drizzle of the new oil, it was simply exquisite, so simple and so good.
So I think that when you have a good olive oil, you don't have to make anything elaborate, but you can go for, I just pour it on everything. I pour it on when I lived in London, I used to make myself smoked salmon sandwiches with avocado, a bit of salad leaves, and extra virgin olive oil. Or cook your fried eggs with extra virgin olive oil and sea salt. They are just absolutely delicious. You then dip your bread in the oil, and I think simplicity can really come to life in your kitchen when you have a quality olive oil. And when I say quality, it's not only RAVIDA olive oil. I'm talking about discovering the world of quality extra virgins, estate bottled, single estate, rather than industrial oils, because that is the difference. And it's just like the world of wines. You have your table wine, one flavor profile, but then if you go into the chateau, if you go into the small estate wines, you start discovering a completely new world. And that is exactly the same with olive oils. Different cultivars, different, terroir,
yes,
different regions.
So the difference between a Pulian oil, a Sicilian oil, Tuscan or a Ligurian oil, all of them have their place and their character, just like wines from these places have their own character and personality.
Exactly. For example, Apulian oils with their coatina that is so strong and it goes well with their burrata, with their orecchiette con I broccoletti. It's ideal for their cuisine, and it's just like a masterpiece of a cultivar. Same with the more delicate varieties from Liguria. Each region has their own varieties with very different flavor profiles. And I really invite, we did a lot of work over the years, when that's how why I wrote a cookbook, because during we had to do a lot of communication at the time back in the 90s to convince customers to invest money in a quality olive oil, because unfortunately the world of extra virgins, it has been, there's a lot of confusion there because there are some very, very cheap oils on the shelves, and these are the industrial oils that sort of ruin the reputation of quality producers of extra virgin olive oils. So we had to convince the consumer, first of all, that olive oil was a very tasty fat, besides having very high nutritional values, but also that it had a different price point than what everybody was used to buy at at the supermarket.
Of course.
And I have to say that a lot of work has been done, but I remember doing olive oil tastings in London back in the early 90s, and people asking me, I've heard it's very healthy to use extra virgin olive oil, but besides salads, what can I do with it? And I remember sort of saying, do you eat boiled potatoes? Oh, yes, I eat boiled potatoes every day. Well, just pour plenty of olive oil and sea salt on your boiled potatoes, and you'll see how delicious they can be.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us a little bit about some of the typical Sicilian dishes that you write about in Seasons of Sicily, your wonderful book.
Thank you. Well, again, it's simplicity, everyday cooking. So, one of the most popular recipes has been the dry broad bean soup. The egg cooked, simmered, I have to say,
Oh, my.
simmered in extra virgin olive oil. But then, there are other dishes, like we eat a lot of wild green vegetables that we pick in the olive groves. They're simply boiled, but when you pour some freshly pressed or even olive oil during the rest of the season, but if you just season them with olive oil, they can be so tasty, or sauteed. So the book it's out of print now, unfortunately. It's gone through two reprints, but there are traditional Sicilian dishes from, a timballo of pasta con le sarde, a lot of vegetables, because
Caponata, for example.
we do the caponata. The caponata, again, we love to use extra virgin olive oil when frying eggplant, because the eggplant takes in the flavor of a good quality oil. And if the oil is not good quality, it will take up the off flavor.
Of course.
So for us, Parmigiana di Melanzane, everything is deep fried in extra virgin olive oil. I'm often asked, but do you use extra virgin olive oil for frying? Yes, I do. What I do is we use previous season oil so that it's not so grassy. We reserve that for cooking or for seasoning. But extra virgin olive oil, because of its high level of antioxidants, and high smoking point, can be used over and over again for frying. You can filter it and then top up with fresh olive oil. I think it can be used up to 20 or 30 times until.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Of course, you don't want it to smoke, but you don't want any fat to smoke, to go to smoking point.
I know that you've paused to join me today right at the end of the harvest. It's late for you to still be pressing olives, but you're also making a very special product right now that I've enjoyed greatly. The lemon trees that grow amidst the olive trees in your estate are also picked to use to make this special lemon oil. Tell us about this, because that has great uses in in Sicilian food, in seasoning fish, and in many other ways.
Yeah, we love the lemon oil. My father was really against the idea. And although he gave me all the tips to produce it, I think he never tasted it. It actually won Great Taste Awards in the UK last year. But the idea is that a quality producer will not ruin their olive oil production by adding lemons. Or sometimes some producers add aromas, lemon aromas. What we do is we press Biancolilla olives with lemons from the farm at the end of the harvest. In fact, we are going to produce just now in mid-December. And the oil, we produce both a lemon oil and the Mandarin olive oil. And they're both really amazing. They will, with a spoonful of Parmesan, they will make just a beautiful pasta with Parmesan, either Parmesan and lemon oil or Parmesan and Mandarin oil. The Mandarin oil goes beautifully on tomatoes, mozzarella. The Mandarin has a wonderful way of combining with its basic ingredients. It goes well like on duck, on lamb.
Oh, wonderful.
And whilst the lemon is easier in a way to use because of the association of lemon, it goes beautifully on fish, but also on a tomato mozzarella. And they have two products that have been very, very successful. And I'm glad you enjoy them.
Oh, I do. And I'm waiting for them to arrive because I think they're one of the really special tastes. I've seen it actually being produced with you, where the lemons are just going along with the olives and crushed completely whole to flavor the oil naturally.
Yeah. We press olives and lemons together.
Yes, it's wonderful. Well, it's been fabulous to talk to you about food and your wonderful oils. I know that you actually travel around the world spreading the message of good single estate olive oils, the RAVIDA oils, of course, and also Sicilian food. Have you resumed your travels?
Well, not really. I briefly came to London in September and spent my time filling up locator forms and doing, tests, COVID tests.
Yes.
So
It's a very strange time still.
it is a strange time. I'm not planning any travel for work for the time being. But really miss doing my cooking classes and demos. I love to have that direct contact with my consumer and really learning how my consumers use extra virgin olive oil around the world. For example, I love going to Japan and seeing some of Tokyo's top sushi chefs using our extra virgin olive oil and lemon and mandarin oils alongside soy sauce.
Oh, how interesting. Yeah.
On their sushis. And the combinations are really amazing and unexpected. So I look forward to start traveling again. But it's fine. I've traveled a lot and I actually am quite enjoying the fact that maybe for a while we can sort of sit back a little bit and think about other things in that hectic life that we used to lead. I hope it doesn't last too long.
Yes, sure. No. I think we all feel the same. There have been some good things that have come out of this enforced time to pause and consider what we're doing. Well, it's been really lovely speaking to you, and I'm delighted as well that you are able to offer to listeners of Italian Wine Podcast a discount code if they wish to come to your website, or those in the UK to the Oil Merchant. And I think Joy will be putting that up onto the SoundCloud site. The code is, I think, Italian Wine Podcast.
Yes. We'll be happy to have you join us either on our website or the Oil Merchant's website, who has fresh supplies because he brings in the oil once a month. So we bottle the oil to order. So that is like an extra guarantee that we give at RAVIDA to guarantee freshness. We store the oil in in stainless steel containers in total absence of oxygen at controlled temperatures. And it's important I'd like to stress that olive oil is a very delicate product and it should be stored with great care, away from heat, light, and oxygen. And once you buy a bottle of good quality olive oil, I always recommend once you open it, use it. It will add and harmonize your food everywhere. Don't be scared to use it because a quality olive oil adds and does not detract taste and flavor. Or otherwise use our oil boxes, which have been really conceived to store the oil in absence of light and oxygen. And that can really keep you going, keeping the freshness of the oil for a really wonderful long period of time.
Well, you've given us so much advice on the enjoyment of oil, and it is a complicated subject, as complicated as wine, but it's a wonderful subject and a wonderful product. And it's been a delight to speak with you today, Natalia. And I wish you all the best for the rest of the harvest. And I look forward to seeing you again in the new year.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me on a wine podcast. But I've always thought that wines and olive oil should go hand in hand because if they're properly tasted, they have a same sort of approach because it's, again, varieties, terroir, and methods of productions that are really important and make a difference.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. And I'll look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. Thank you. Wonderful speaking to you. And thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Wine, Food and Travel with me, Marc Millon, on Italian Wine Podcast. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe right here or wherever you get your pods. Likewise, you can visit us at ItalianWinePodcast.com. Until next time, chin chin.
Hi everybody! Italian Wine Podcast celebrates its 4th anniversary this year, and we all love the great content they put out every day. Chin Chin with Italian wine people has become a big part of our day, and the team in Verona needs to feel our love. Producing the show is not easy, folks. Herding all those hosts, getting the interviews, dropping the clubhouse recordings, not to mention editing all the material. Let's give them a tangible fan hug with a contribution to all their costs. Head to ItalianWinePodcast.com and click donate to show your love.